Hey everyone! Welcome to the first episode of q&art. This is my new podcast. Woo! A quick word before we start the episode, because this is the first episode, so I'm just gonna try to explain this whole thing, what this is. So this is a podcast for small creators, by small creators. So I love listening to podcasts and to art podcasts, but usually those art podcasts are like made by people who already work in the industry. They're usually very well-known artists. They kind of know their stuff, and they are very well established in the industry. And as interesting as that is, sometimes I feel like they lack the perspective of someone who's just starting out. So I thought I'm gonna do a podcast where I could talk to people who are doing that and just starting out and trying to build something. So that's what this is. All right. Let's do this. So, my guest today is the wonderful iLeys. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I guess just introduce yourself and tell us where to find you.
Hi, I'm the wonderful iLeys.
That's just
I
it.
can't do it.
We'll just leave it at that.
Hi, I'm iLeys. I'm on Instagram and YouTube as creative.iv. I'm a reverse cell painter. There, is that good?
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, so topic for today, as the first episode, is all about inspiration. So, how to find inspiration, what is inspiration? I'm just gonna start by asking you what inspiration is for you, and are you constantly inspired?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't want to brag.
I mean, because that's interesting to me, because I'm not. For me, inspiration is a lot like the tides, like it comes and goes. And when it comes, it hits me hard and it's amazing. But when it's not there, it's really hard. It's like a desert, you know? So, it would be interesting for me to get the perspective of someone who is constantly inspired. Is inspiration something that you think, is it more of like a thing that for you it comes from within? Like, is it like this flame that's constantly burning inside you, or do you have to refuel once in a while?
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Sometimes I have to refuel a little bit, but I never feel like I can't draw. Like if I have something that's not inside of me that's like uber super poetic and like just wow, like that feeling you talked about, like amazing. Like even if I don't have something amazing, I could be like, well, I'll just draw something I like a flower or something. And then usually after I've looked at some of the inspirational stuff that I've like pinned or saved, or books that I have a lot of poetry books, and I have a lot of field guide books with stuff in them, and I have a book about like Alphonse Mucha and like a bunch of other stuff, and it's just like if I like find this one thing that I like, I can just go through my inspirational stuff and pick out little things that like one thing from each different inspirational. Like if you pick out like 5 different things that inspire you, and you pick one trait or detail from each of those 5 things, and then combine them with something that you already have in mind that you like a flower or something, you can potentially make something. Like there's always the potential to make something, even if it doesn't turn out good. And then like if it doesn't turn out good, well, that's a bad day, and tomorrow's another day, and you can try again on that same subject the next day, or you could try something else. There's lots of days where I like think that I have a good idea, and I try it, and it kind of turns out dumb. And then I just try something else, and it turns out amazing. Like it just, it's hit and miss. I just don't ever feel like I'm completely empty, though. I feel like there's always something I can do. And a lot of the time, I'll have moments where I get inspired by a bunch of stuff, and then I'll have a bunch of stuff in a list, and I have to write them down, because otherwise it's like I can't do them all, and I get like overwhelmed more so than if I'm ever empty.
Okay.
I think more often I'm overwhelmed than I am empty.
Okay, that's interesting.
Usually I have enough ideas that last me a long time, so it looks like I'm never looking for ideas.
Do you differentiate between inspiration and motivation, or is that linked for you? Because to me, those are two different things. Because as you described it now, it kind of sounds to me like you're always motivated as well.
No, I'm not always motivated. I always have something to do, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I'm definitely not always motivated. Sometimes I take days off, like the really bad days where you just don't feel good. You know, it's okay to take days off. But I guess I just have a lot of willpower. I know that I'll feel worse if I do nothing than if I were to just push through and do a little bit of something. Sometimes it takes a few times making myself sit down and actually do it. You know, sometimes I sit down and I'm like, I'm going to finish this line art right here in front of me. And then I get up and do a few other things because technically well, that's not the right word. That doesn't make sense. I speak English and I'm not speaking English.
What?
Let me re-say that. Oh god, now I lost what I was saying. What was I even talking about?
I have no idea.
Oh, motivation?
Yeah, we were talking about like motivation versus inspiration. Like, is it different from you then? So there's definitely a difference between being inspired and being motivated.
A little bit. Being inspired definitely helps motivate me. It makes it a little easier. But, you know, there's days where you just don't feel motivated. Oh, I know what I was saying now. Like, like when you, like there'll be like days where I'll try to sit down and then I'll go do something else and then I'll try to sit down again. And it's like I didn't do that line art that I still said I was going to do. That probably isn't even hard to do. I just have to sit down and commit to doing it. But I don't feel motivated, right? It's like that icky feeling you get where you just, well, a lot of the time I do that. I get up, I go do something else, I come back, I sit down, I still don't do it, I get up, I go do something else. And like in my brain is just procrastinating. It's like, let's go do the dishes so that you don't have to do this line work. And it's like, I don't know, it gets to a point where you just have to realize that that's what's happening and you just gotta be like, no, brain, no, you can do this. You gotta just like, I talk to myself a lot, not always out loud, sometimes out loud. But I do talk to myself a lot. Like
I do that too. That's partly a reason why I started a YouTube channel, so I could just talk into a camera instead of talking to myself all the time.
That makes sense. That's cool. I didn't think about it that way.
To me, it's definitely different. I think that, to me, those, like, motivation and inspiration are very separate things, but they are linked. Like, it's this thing where they're linked in the sense that when I'm inspired, I'm also automatically motivated. But I can be motivated without being inspired. Wait.
Yeah.
No, actually, I can't be.
Oh, you can't be? I can't.
I think. Like, what if it's like?
Oh, I can do that.
What? No, I think I can't, or maybe I can, but it's a lot harder because, as I said, when I don't have inspiration, it's like this wasteland. It's like this desert. And to come into this desert with motivation, there's nothing to work with. That's kind of what gets to me, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So you're definitely different in that way.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I can motivate myself even if there's nothing. Cause I sit down and I just contemplate like, okay, well, if I don't have anything I want to do just because I want to do it and I'm inspired to do that, then I'm like, I guess this is a good time to think about the marketing approach. Because there's a marketing approach that you can do when you have that free time that you can't fill with something that you want to do. So it's like, all right, I'll just draw a pastel unicorn. That's something that's popular.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's such a valuable skill to be able to sit down and just work from a business perspective. Because that way you're not wasting time, like, quote-unquote, wasting time, because if you don't feel like drawing, don't draw, right? But if you feel like drawing and you just don't know what to draw, and you're still able to just push through that and still draw, I think that's it's very valuable, actually. Yeah. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, you always have the ability to draw, even if it doesn't turn out good the first couple times.
Yeah.
There's days where nothing turns out good, but
yeah, totally.
You still have the ability to do it, so you could always come up with thumbnails in those days. Like, hey, I have this idea, but it's not working out because you're just having a bad day. You just can't do it that day. But you could do thumbnails. Thumbnails don't have to be good.
Yeah.
You could just you could pull out some concepts on those days just so you don't feel like you're not doing anything. I mean, it's okay to not do anything sometimes, but you might feel worse if you don't do anything. I'm that kind of person where if I do nothing, then I feel worse later. So.
Me too. And I often get into these situations where I feel like I can't do anything, and then I feel really bad about that.
Right. Yeah. Maybe doing thumbnails is a good idea for those days. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I mean, you just scribble in a little tiny square, and all you're trying to achieve is the concept, not really how it looks.
Yeah, or just do like studies, anatomy studies, or you don't even have to activate your brain to copy something. Yeah.
Right. And as far as the marketing thing goes, you can always just do that as like a like whatever you end up drawing, even if it's not like something crazy deep or anything, like it's a unicorn, at least you got better at drawing a unicorn, like you got better at something just by doing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll learn something about marketing based on how that whatever you end up doing goes, And then you'll figure out maybe another way to market something that you are inspired by that you do like. Like recently I didn't have anything to post and I hadn't posted in a while and I was like, well, I kind of feel like I need to in a marketing approach. I don't actually need to. I can do what, you can do whatever you want. But like, I was like, I probably should because I don't want to get too stagnant. Because then it's harder to climb out of that hole. And that's just like the job wise of it. And I was like, well, I'll post a, not a collage. What would you call that? Like multiple pictures. We'll just say I'll post a multiple picture post. There you go.
Yeah.
And I picked a bunch of pictures that were just my line work, and I posted my line work because I knew in my head, from a marketing approach, a lot of people like my line work. I like my line work. So it's something that they work on both sides, the marketing and myself. I like it, they like it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try that. So I posted it, and it got way better engagement than most of my stuff lately.
Okay.
Like, it kind of made me feel good. I was like, wow, I figured something out that works marketing, but also works with what I like.
Yeah, and it's really cool because that way you can post like work in progress and you have more stuff to post. Like you don't only have to post like the finished stuff, you can also post the line art.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so I learned that, I learned something from taking the marketing approach. A lot of people kind of see that as a negative thing, but it's like, you gotta just have a good balance. You don't want to let the whole like numbers and marketing and all that stuff like engulf you and like eat you alive. You don't want that. You don't want that to be what everything's about. But if you're wanting to do it as a job, like you gotta think about it a little bit. So like maybe you can find like a healthy balance between the two. Like I like line work. The marketing side of things likes my line work, so I can do that. I can feel good about that. Like I don't feel suppressed. Like my creative juices aren't suppressed by me doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you ever feel like the marketing perspective is like suppressing your inspiration or your will to draw something because you feel pressured?
I have the ability to feel that way, yes. I think I would feel that way if I put myself in that position, of course. I think anyone could really. That's I think that's a big problem right now. I think a lot of people focus on that a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like I know like right now it bothers me a little bit because I'm really stagnant right now and like it makes me feel a little bit like what am I doing wrong? But I don't really feel like I'm wrong, I'm like, in the way where I should feel negative about myself. I think that I'm not really doing anything different. I'm doing the art that I've always done. I just think maybe maybe people aren't really into bugs because that's what I've been doing lately is bugs. So it's like, it's more like, what am I doing wrong as in like I'm frustrated because I want to find the solution rather than what am I doing wrong, like I don't know, like put yourself down kind of way. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people put themselves down. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I was about to say, I think the brain kind of gets used to the constant gratification of having likes or having people engage with your posts.
Yeah.
And therefore, they kind of, things just get messed up in the brain and...
you end up measuring your worth.
Yeah, totally. I definitely have the problem as well. I'm definitely learning lately to take it slower because I would be like, oh, I have to post like 2 to 3 times a week to get the engagement up and blah 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 blah. But right now I'm just like, you know what, just I'm drawing for myself and because I want this to be my job and I'm already pushing myself to practice a lot, and if I add the numbers on top I'm gonna destroy myself.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you realized that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want you to
I'm glad I
yourself.
did. Have you seen that post that's been going? I think you posted this to your stories, right? The post with this little grave.
Yeah, I can't remember
Uh,
how to say her name.
yeah.
I can see it in my head, but I don't know how to say it.
I will link it. I will link the post in the description. Give
Yeah,
credit where
that's
credit
okay.
is due.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, ha! I realized that before this post
yeah,
came about. Yeah, I think that it's harder. Like the whole social media number thing is harder on people that just start out drawing or are not confident yet in their abilities and their skill, because then
yeah,
they attach the numbers to not only their self-worth but also their worth as an artist, how good they are.
yeah.
And
That's what it kind of seems like.
yeah, so it can be like it can be actually really dangerous to start social media as a person that's not fully developed an artist yet, and I'm not fully developed. And sometimes I think to myself, is it really wise to start now when I attach my worth and my like abilities so much to the social media aspect? Should I maybe take a step back and stop doing social media and practice until I'm like confident in what I do? I kind of
Sounds
haven't.
like you might need to think about why you might not be confident.
Good answer.
Sounds like it might be something other than social media.
Oh my, stop analyzing me. No, I agree. I agree. I agree. I think for me, I have decided to myself that I really like social media. I really like the social aspect of it, even maybe sometimes it
Hmm.
gets lost a little bit, but I like reaching out. That's why I do YouTube, because I really like reaching out to people.
Hmm.
Um, and Instagram the same. I've met so many great people on Instagram. I've met you on Instagram. Like, hello. Yeah. So I would never discourage like a younger artist or a person that's just starting out to not do social media, but they should definitely be aware of the dangers that come with it, and they should kind of harden themselves, I guess, in
Yeah,
that aspect.
it should be a push forward, not a something that holds you back. Like, yeah, like just focus on the people that do matter, just like you do in real life. Like I don't know. I try to make friends with everyone that follows me that actually talks to me. I mean,
Hmm.
I try to talk to some people, but they don't talk back. Can't do anything about
Yeah,
that.
I get that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that social media should help you with your confidence. I think you should either already have it or you should gain it in a different way.
Yeah. See it maybe as a possibility, like a ride. Wait, a wave, a wave that you can ride. And
Mm,
if the wave isn't coming and it isn't pushing you forward, that doesn't mean you are not pushing forward in life or in your skill or your abilities as an
yeah,
artist. Just because someone, or, just because you posted something new and the post doesn't get as many likes doesn't mean that you haven't improved, or, it, like you said earlier, it can be the weirdest thing, like people are not into what you've drawn. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you drew something that is not popular right now and people don't like it as much, you know?
right. Yeah, but that's okay because now I'm better at drawing bugs.
Totally,
I
yeah. I really
never
like
drew
your
bugs
bugs, by
before.
the way. I really like your bugs. I don't know why they don't get as much engagement.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me. It's just people really aren't like bugs aren't like a popular thing right now. It's totally okay, but I'm not doing it for that reason. I thought they poetically they fit the event I was doing, and the event I was doing was for a good cause, and that's
Mm,
all that matters to me.
yeah,
The only reason it's been on social media is so other people can join. It's not for a popularity contest.
yeah.
It's yeah. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that a lot of people just have to realize that sometimes when you do what you want, it's not going to be the popular thing, and so it's not going to get as much attention. But that doesn't make it wrong.
Exactly. And do you really want to be the kind of artist that just does what people expect of you? Because is that then, like, I don't want to be like a gatekeeper and be like, this is art and this is not art, but isn't the true meaning of art to do what you feel like doing? To express
Yeah, kind
yourself?
of.
No matter
To
how
an extent,
commercially you want to work, it's always an
yeah.
expression of yourself. So, why would you base that on someone else's opinion?
Right. Yeah. Not. easily done as said for some people, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's like
I
universal lesson too. Like, it's about
right.
self-worth and the way that people perceive you and how you look
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I get why it's so hard for people. That's probably
Yeah.
something that a lot of people struggle with, and I struggle with it as well. But I've
I
definitely
used
like
to
grown.
when I
Yeah.
was younger.
Yeah. I
When
think,
I was younger, I was like, I was like the epitome of self hate.
yeah. And that, I think to a
I was
degree this is
completely the opposite
normal.
I am now.
Yeah, but I think to a degree this is almost normal. Like, as a teenager, you go through these phases, and sometimes it takes you longer to get out of that phase, sometimes not,
Oh yeah. I didn't start getting out of it until I was like 25, and I'm 28 now, and it took a while. I
Yeah.
would say now I like myself and I'm confident, and I don't think like my artwork is like the bee's knees, but I think I'm pretty good and I think I can get better, and I think that that's what I should focus on, you know. But it took me a long time to get there. I mean, I didn't even really have that like moment of clarity until I was like 25. That's a long time to like not like yourself.
Yeah. Silence.
Right.
Okay.
What should we say to close? We kind of ended on a dark note.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god. I mean, I guess we can summarize now. We talked about inspiration. We found out that's definitely a highly personal topic. I think people definitely feel different about it. I was surprised to hear that you feel constantly inspired, or, you know, nearly constantly inspired. That kind of surprised me.
Nearly.
To be honest, I didn't think that was possible.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason, weird actually, because I wouldn't say I'm a self-centered like person. I definitely look at what's going on around me, but I kind of thought that's the norm. Yeah.
I feel like it comes with being more free, like
Yeah.
mentally, because I wasn't that way when I was younger. I mean, I was, but not in the same way. I think
Right.
it helps as you get older. I feel like I am. I know I've done work towards it, but I also feel like getting older does help. It helps. Something in your brain chemicals, I think, maybe evens out a little. I don't know.
I mean, I guess then that's the moral of this whole talk. Like, this applies to both the things that we talked about. The older and the more mature and the more grounded in life you get, the easier it will get to deal with being an artist and to deal with inspiration, to deal with social media, with insecurities, with doubts.
Yeah, depending on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I have been through we're gonna get dark again. I've been through some very terrible things, and it took a really long time to get to who I am now.
Yeah.
But I think it's 100% doable. I mean, they were really terrible, and I'm fine now, pretty much, sort of. Mostly.
You sound
So
fine
it's
to me.
definitely doable. It's definitely doable.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that uh, a more peaceful mind, it really, really helps towards that. Like right now in my life, I don't have any drama, anything that I have to like stay up at night thinking about, kind of a thing. I don't have a guilty conscience. I don't worry about stuff between other people. I took out all of the toxic people in my life. They're like gone. I took them out completely. I don't have relationships with them. So I have like more of a peaceful mind, and I think that has a lot to do with willpower and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I really agree with what you said, because last year I had this, we talked about this, last year I had this whole year where I cut out parts of my family because they weren't good for me. So I've just been through this whole thing, and I noticed that last year, while I was mentally not well and like dealing with all the negativity, my inspiration really plummeted, and my whole self-worth obviously, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like this year, where I have a little bit more distance from those people, we don't have any contact anymore, I feel so much more at peace and so much more grounded, and that boosts also my creativity and my inspiration. So yeah.
That's really good. I'm so happy for
Yes! Oh my god! Now we're definitely ending on a positive.
It's not easy to do. I'm really proud of you. It's hard to not feel like family members are entitled to your life, but they really aren't.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever entitled to your time, to your life, to your efforts. Nobody ever. No matter who they are.
I
Not
agree.
your parents, not your siblings, not your best friends, nobody. Nobody's entitled to your life. And if like seeing them or thinking about them gives you anguish, then they probably shouldn't be around.
Yeah. And that goes to go full circle also for social media. If people tell you what to do,
Right.
what not to do, or you kind of derive that from the way that they're liking things and not liking things, they are not worth your time. You should surround yourself with people who appreciate what you're doing, no matter what that is. If someone is gonna unfollow you, I usually think to myself, oh man, their loss. Because, you know, I have a lot to offer, but if they don't like what I have to offer, then let them go, you know, and I'd rather have fewer followers or a slower growth, but have people who actually appreciate what I do fully.
Absolutely. Same for me. Absolutely. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of negative comments, but there's been a few little ones that I was like, what the heck? And I just delete them, honestly. I don't let anyone else have to endure them either. I just delete them.
I get that. I personally, I don't get many. I have gotten a few, but I don't delete them. I just, you know, it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. They're not entitled to your mind either, your time, thoughts.
Yeah.
Nobody is. I mean, not social media either.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with all those sort of like mean comments and stuff, that's a whole nother topic. Like, we could talk an hour about this stuff. So, I guess we should kind of end this here. I think this is a good place.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for being on my first episode of q&art. This is so exciting. Yeah, thank you. Check out iLeys. I will have links in the description box in the description box of this video. What was I saying? Yeah, check out iLeys and tell me what you thought about the podcast. And if you want to be on the podcast, you can totally be. Just hit me up. And yeah, I hope I'll see you soon for a new episode of this. So yeah, do you have any last words?
Thank you for having me on the show. Hopefully all my followers are still following me after this.
Everyone just left. You go into your Instagram and
everyone just leaves. Like,
I hate her. All right. Bye.
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 The moral of the story, no matter how much you hate yourself, you can climb out of that dark pit and hole.
Thank you, Saint iLeys, for clarifying that.
Not today, Satan.